Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. So today we will be talking about 5 fragrances that I find are 10 out of 10 either gourmand or gourmand leaning fragrances for the fall season. If you're interested, please keep on watching. So as always, before we get started with the video, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Roxanne and this is Roxanne's Retreat. If this is your first time joining me, thank you and welcome. And if you've been here before and you decided to come back, big up your whole self. Truly, truly appreciate your continued support. Also, if you have not already subscribed, now is the time. Please hit that subscribe button if you enjoy my content. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and turn on your notification bell to notify you every single time I upload. All these things really do help my channel to grow. Okay, so before we get into the fragrances, of course, let's talk about my scent of the day. So my scent of the day is this one right here, and this is Vanille Fatale from the house of Tom Ford. So obviously, I'm feeling myself, hence I'm putting on some Vanille Fatale today. So to me, this is like a really sexy, come hither kind of vanilla fragrance. It's very warm. It's like ambery. It's resinous. There's myrrh. There's some kind of liquor in there. There's vanilla. There's saffron. Just a really sexy, smooth fragrance. I like to pull for this usually in the evening time, like for a date night, or if I'm going somewhere, you know, hanging out with the girls, something like that. Because it's like one of those fragrances that gives you like that little oomph, that boost of confidence. So today, my scent of the day is from the house of Tom Ford, and this is Vanille Fatale. Okay, so like I said in the opening, we're going to be talking about 5 fragrances that are either gourmand or gourmand leaning that I believe are like 10 out of 10 fragrances for this time of year. So yeah, let's just get into them. So the first one I want to talk about here is this one right here from the house of Initio, and this is Side Effect. So for those of you who have smelled Side Effect, you're probably like, well, woman, why do you think this is gourmand or gourmand leaning? It's like this boozy, you know, kind of resinous tobacco kind of vibe, because there are notes of rum, vanilla, tobacco, cinnamon. But I'll tell you why this is gourmand leaning to my island woman nose. This smells like the cake, depends on which island you come from. But this smells like what we call in Grenada black cake. So basically the way they make this cake is they soak all different types of fruit, kind of dried fruit that they soak in whatever liquor they decide. And they soak that thing for a long time, and then they make it into this cake. The cake is black. The cake lasts forever. It's actually traditionally what we use for our wedding cakes where I come from, because people would, you know, the cake lasts forever. It's rum filled. So that is why this fragrance to me is something gourmand or gourmand leaning, because it smells like this black rum cake that I love, and we typically eat this mostly around the holidays. So that is why Side Effect would make this list. I love this fragrance. It's boozy. It smells like rum cake, so it has this like sentimental kind of nostalgic vibe to me. And when I wear it, I feel like, you know, type bossy, and it smells really intoxicating. It's sweet because of the vanilla. I mean, it's just a really gorgeous fragrance. It's definitely unisex, because he wears it, I wear it. It wears differently, of course. On me, it gives me about 6 hours on the skin. Sillage, projection, I would say is a little bit above moderate. I pull for this mostly in the evenings when it's cooler. here in Florida. It has to be in the evening. I don't wear this to work or anything like that. This is definitely for going out, date night, this kind of vibe. So yep, my first fragrance that I have on this list that I find this to be a 10 out of 10 gourmand or gourmand leaning fragrance for the fall. Side effect from the house of Initio Parfums. Okay, so the next fragrance on the list is no stranger to any person that loves fragrances, and this one is Angel Share from the house of Kilian. This to me is gourmand leaning because the thing is sweet. It's very boozy, but it's very sweet, and it smells to me like apple strudel with a lot of rum. Like Granny was making some apple strudel and she was drinking a little bit of cognac while she was making it, and then some of that cognac fell into the apple strudel and she made it anyways, and we all enjoyed it. So that's why this one is on the list. So yes, Angel Share is boozy, it's vanillic, it's super sweet. There's some praline in the dry down that to me causes that, you know, it gives it that really sweet, almost kind of caramel vibe, but more boozy than anything else. In terms of, there's tonka bean in here also. This is delicious. It's really delicious. If you're into like a boozy, really sweet, because this is syrupy sweet for me. If you don't like sweet fragrances, stay away from Angel Share, okay? Don't wear it. This is like the fragrance of choice for everybody's Thanksgiving dinner. It just reminds you of the holidays. It reminds me of the holidays, again, based on the food that we tend to eat around that time. In terms of performance, this one is a little iffy. I have to layer this fragrance in order for it to perform. And I typically layer it with something that's cinnamon, or there's this body lotion from Hemp's that I found, and it's like nutmeg and apple something. It layers really well with this fragrance. It lengthens the life of the fragrance because, you know, the skin is nice and moist. So all in all, it would give me about 4 to 5 hours on the skin. I typically reserve it for, again, the holidays, going out, so it doesn't have to last all day because I'm not wearing it to work. In terms of projection and sillage, I would say it's moderate. I do get complimented on this fragrance. It's not a fragrance that garners lots of compliments. It just depends on where I am. So yep, Angel Share from the house of Kilian. Definitely a 10 out of 10 gourmand leaning fragrance for the fall season. Next up is a fragrance that everybody and their mama has been talking about, but for good reason, and it is Bianco Latte from the house of Giardini di Toscana. I always have to think about the way I'm saying it, and I'm still probably saying it wrong, but y'all know what I'm talking about. This one right here in this bottle. So this one right here, oh my gosh, I love it. And yes, it's hyped. But, you know, I don't really kind of get into really hype fragrances. I have to really like the fragrance for me to even talk about it multiple times. So I love this fragrance. This is my hug in a bottle fragrance. This is a vanilla, just sweet. Oh, it reminds me of condensed milk. Like, again, it's another story. Growing up in the Caribbean, we used to just sometimes go in the refrigerator because we utilize a lot of condensed milk to make various things in the islands. And I don't know if there are any island girls out there watching, or guys, if you remember going into the refrigerator and pouring out some of that condensed milk in your hand and just actually licking it. Yeah, I did that all the time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not ashamed anymore. But yeah, so this gives me that vibe. It's just sweet. It lasts forever. I wear this a lot to bed, wear it around the house. And my goodness, this fragrance is yummy. Vanilla, if you want like a really pretty enveloping vanilla fragrance that's gonna last you a long time, try Bianco Latte. I know you've heard about it. If you are into fragrances, you have definitely heard about Bianco Latte. There's caramel in the opening, so again, that gives it a little bit more sweetness, and of course there's vanilla in the fragrance, so always a wonderful combination. Caramel and vanilla, you can't go wrong. I think there's a little bit of honey too, so you have to be into a really sweet fragrance in order for you to enjoy Bianco Latte. Like I said in many videos, I would spray this on at night, and in the morning, after 8-9 hours, I can still smell it on the sheets. I could get a nice faint smell on my skin, but on the sheets, it's everywhere. So this is Bianco Latte from the house of Giardini di Toscana. Definitely a 10 out of 10 fragrance that's amazing for this time of year. Next up, I have this fragrance here from the house of BDK, and this is none other than Velvet Tonka. Velvet Tonka. I could not wait to pull this one out. I love this fragrance. It's like almondy. Of course, there's tonka bean. There's vanilla. It's bourbon vanilla that's in here. It's so good. It is so good. It is very comforting, very, again, enveloping. Oh, I love it. It just gives me chills whenever I think of wearing it. And you just have to be careful where I live to pull this one out, because it's like thick, it's dense, and you really can't pull it off in the heat. It's great for when the weather is cooler. Yeah. I love me some Velvet Tonka. Now, in terms of performance, this one gives me about 6 hours on the skin, overspraying. I typically layer this with something vanilla. I have this, let me see. This one from Hemp's. This is sponge sugar and vanilla bean. I tried these two together and I loved it. It helped with the longevity. And you could also layer this with anything kind of almond base. There's also this one from Laura Mercier, and I can't remember the name of it, that I've layered this with also. Just all smell so good. You smell sweet, you smell decadent, you smell edible. In other words, like ting to eat. You smell like things to eat. So if you want to smell like something to eat, whether it's like for this it would be like a almond pastry, vanilla almond pastry, try this one. Try Velvet Tonka. I love this fragrance. I know this one is, this one gets mixed reviews in the community, but this is definitely one that I love to reach for when the weather is cooler. Projection, sillage, I would say moderate. It's not a beast, but it's definitely a fragrance that can stand on its own. So Velvet Tonka from the house of BDK. Okay, last but not least is one of the newest fragrances to my collection. And this one right here, this was just released in the year 2023. I might be a little behind the 8 ball maybe, but I don't always rush out to get the newest thing. So the one I'm speaking of right here is Devotion from the house of Dolce and Gabbana. So Devotion to me is like it smells to me like a candied lemon kind of sponge cake. Like it has a texture to it, and the texture that I can associate this with is like a spongy kind of texture. So it's sweet. It's like a candied fruit, whether it's lemon or orange, but I get more lemon more so throughout the fragrance. So there's candied lemon in here, there's orange blossom, there's vanilla, there's some kind of liquor, which I don't really pick up though. Yeah, so it's one of those fragrances it's along the lines of something like a Lyra from Xerjoff, which I decluttered because I don't know, it was doing something to me. It wasn't working. And I just prefer this better. And Bake from Acro, which I don't have, but I do have a decant, so I know what it smells like. So yeah, it's along those kind of lemony gourmand kind of fragrances. Now, I got this fragrance. The first time I wore it, I was like, okay, performance, where are you? Donde está? But then I found it. It is now giving me about 5 hours on the skin. I've layered this with lemon pound cake from Bath and Body Works, and that really did something. It was pretty, y'all. And I even layered it with this orange, what is it called? It's like an orange, it smells like an orange sickle kind of lotion from Bath and Body Works also. I layered it with that, and that was pretty too. So when I say it's not only like candied lemon, it's like almost like a candied fruit, like a candied citrus. That's the vibe it gives me. So it definitely smells like a dessert. So like I said, it's given me about 5 hours on the skin. That's with me overspraying. I enjoy it more than I enjoy Lyra. And I know people are clutching their pearls and like, you know, they don't trust me anymore. Y'all can still trust me. That's just my opinion on one fragrance. Please trust me if you did. Anywho, Devotion from the house of Dolce & Gabbana. I really like this fragrance. I love the bottle. I don't have any of the handbags that are in this line. The only thing I could afford is the actual fragrance, and I am enjoying it. So this is Devotion from the house of Dolce & Gabbana. Definitely a 10 out of 10 gourmand for the fall. Check it out if you haven't already done so. Okay, y'all, so that brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing. Please turn on your notification bell so you will know every single time I upload a video. Also, if you have not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? I think I said that already, but there's nothing wrong with reinforcement. Also, please in the comments, let us know. Let us know what are your favorite gourmand or gourmand leaning fragrances that you are pulling for in this fall cozy weather. I want to know. I might want to pick one up, y'all. You know, don't go ahead and feed this fragrance addiction. It's okay. It's a safe space. Anyways, like I always say, we can be anything in this world we want to be with hard work, dedication, perseverance. But while we're getting there, and even if we're already there, smell like good people. Smell fabulous at all times. Hope to see y'all in the next one. Follow me on Instagram. Toodles.